So this is
Let me know when you
we're recording now.
know. Okay. So there's that whole visual thing. I'm an ENTP and I am a visual learner. And stuff is visual for me. And apparently that's rare for an ENTP.
As I perceive it, yeah. I mean, take my theories or whatever observations with a grain of salt, but yeah, that's how I see it.
Okay. And so I'm just wondering, I researched the topic and then I came up on something that it kind of adds to the types is a personality style. And I'm wondering what you know about personality styles.
All right. Well, that label style specifically could be referencing a number of different models. So, on the one hand, it could be referencing like the Enneagram social sexual
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? That would be one kind of a style. Or it could be referencing a style called phlegmatic, choleric, melancholic, or I forget what the other one is. It's like the old school. It's like the
Yeah.
pre-modern psychology terms they use for personality types, which basically
The four
says,
temperaments.
yeah, the four temperaments, right? Yeah. Then there's the Big Five, right? The Big Five personalities theory, which basically says that you've got the five main traits, one of which is openness, one of which is agreeability, I think, and one of which is conscientiousness.
And creativity and extroversion versus introversion, and neurotic versus,
Right.
you know.
Well, see, that's the thing. They're not necessarily a dichotomy on those big five. Saying that neuroticism is a scale on which you score something is different than saying you're either. It's different than saying it's a seesaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like seesaw models because the more you are of this, the less you are of this, the more you are of this. And so then you have a certain amount of exclusivity. If this is binary, then you have one of those things where you have one or the other, but never both, like NE or NI.
Right. Right.
Those models seem better to me because, first of all, they're more meaningfully explicatory or explanatory or explicative. I don't know what the word is there. Explanatory, I guess, would be the best one. Um, because they explain to you why you're this and not that, not just why you're something or why you behave a certain way, but it's a better explanation to say this is why you behave this way and this is why you don't behave that way. It provides more answer and it's a little bit more decisive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So the
Right.
style thing, then it's hard to say which style you're talking about, but yeah, there's different sort of subtypes of styles stuff.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I was just kind of bouncing ideas off you.
As far as
Hmm.
where the visual thing comes from, I think it's very much like left-handedness. That the left-handedness is probably something like that where we don't see the back end of it, where it's like, oh, the visual and the NI are supposed to line up, but that got crossed, and this person ended up left-handed, or this person ended up as you do, which is you're a lefty. You know, you're a
You know
cognitive
something
function
that's
lefty.
interesting?
What?
It's not really related, but it's just I do things left-handedly, but I write with my right hand.
Hmm.
You guys
I
are
can't
sort of
remember what that's called, but every sport thing that I do is left-handed.
Hmm.
But when I write, I have to use my right hand.
That's something worth stroking my chin for.
I
Yeah.
mean, was that right-handed writing natural or was it imposed upon you?
It was natural.
You picked up the right hand. And what about? But see, this is the thing. One reason is why you would if you weren't super dominant one way or the other. Why you would go right-handed naturally is because the language goes left to right. It doesn't go right to
Uh-huh.
left. So you want to move away from your text. You don't want to move into your own text, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to move into your own text. If you're a lefty, you have to write into your own text, or you have to go like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And I am always looking for shortcuts.
Yeah, right. Well, so it would make sense that an ENTP mind would say, you know what, let's just go with this hand. It's a lot easier. Yeah, right. That way I don't have to write.
So you might have been able to write with your left hand, but maybe you know.
And I might have been able to do things because people say that I am a good writer. People say that I do things, but I don't. It's hard for me to do that because I am always rushing, and I think it just takes too much time and thought. And I guess it would be the extroverted intuition where I brainstorm out loud, kind of. And so when I write, I end up rearranging everything that I just wrote because it's not formed already. I write it out, and then I end up backspacing and rearranging.
That's normal NE stuff right there. That's what I would consider the vector of constructive versus executive. I mean, like, there's a lot of different dichotomies that we use to describe things that are similar. But I think that's a distinction that is an important one, is constructive versus executive. It's a distinction on how a given type is going to prefer to work, by which I mean to execute a given task or a given little miniature project. Is that person going to prefer to work by having it all road mapped out ahead of time and then executing that plan, even in the miniature, right? It may be like, okay, for this memo, I'm going to put the picture up here, I'm going to put a block of text right here, I'm going to put this thing right here, this thing right here, got the skeleton all set up, now I just need to fill in the component chunks. That's an executive way of doing it. Whereas if I start a memo, I just go like, open a Word document or something and start typing. And then I start to move it over here, and then, I got to move that over. It doesn't look right. That's NE versus NI. But more importantly than that, it's TI versus TE. So it's NE-TI mixture, and the ENTP goes, as TI, you want to play with it rather than set it like you do with TE, and then with NE, you want to be exploratory with it. You don't want to know where you're going in. You want to find out. So that makes perfect sense. If you are, then when you're done with that, if you are sort of pulling back and looking at the thing and going, this is a paragraph, this is a concept, this is a concept, this is a concept, just tagging it out like that kind of, and then rearranging it. That's consistent, I think, with how I would do things too. If, however, you were to, like, after you were done with that, you look at the whole thing, and then you see this paragraph idea, and it all of a sudden coalesces like, boom, the structure should be intro, this paragraph, this paragraph, this paragraph, this paragraph, that. Then that would be an NI sort of finalization of the whole thing. And that sometimes happens to me. Sometimes it does, where I go, oh, it's got to be like that. But usually it's the other way. Usually I just smush it until it fits finally. Now I got to smush a little more here. Now I got to pia a little bit, and and then it works. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So I'm gonna. Do you have any? Do you want anything to add on this topic? We're gonna put another short one, maybe. I like little short stuff. Tony, got anything to add?
Who's Robert?
Who is
Robert?
Robert is the very interesting fellow who comes by and just sort of looks through a frosted window and smiles and makes faces and is diagonal. And like right now, I have him covered over on my thing right here like this. If I find him a little spooky. So look, I'll show you my screen. This is how I have it set right now.
Yeah, Robert just kind of hangs out.
Because Robert's back there. There he is. That's a little spooky. And I put that there. I feel spooky, Robert, because you're both diagonal and you're blurry.
Robert's a good guy, though, from what I've gathered, and that's all I've gathered, actually.
Have you heard? Are you familiar with the legend of the blurry diagonal man? It's an urban legend. I'm concerned this might be he. You never know.
He just kind of smiles and.
Right. All right. So anyway, I'm putting this back over you, Robert. There.
Oh. Okay.
Do you want me to not cover you over? Now that my screen stopped sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, there, I've uncovered you.
Does he ever answer questions?
Only when we ask him.
Okay.
I haven't gotten a serious answer from him yet. I don't know. I think maybe it's
Yeah,
a
you
New York
can't,
thing.
bro.
It's probably a New York thing. I think it's a Brooklyn thing. That's okay. I respect that. I respect that you are not going. You will give whichever answers you see fit. Okay. Anything to add before we stop this video, guys?
Nothing.
All right. Cool.